Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafter, welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today we are going to make a card using the wonderful Papercraft Society. This is box number 46. It's made or designed by the lovely Ruth Mackie-McCartan, and this is Ruth here. We get lots of products in our Papercraft Society box. I leave a link down below in the description to my unboxing of what exactly comes in this kit, though I will be showing you the dies and stamps. So you can see here I have all my pieces and parts ready to share with you. But first I want to show you the stamps and dies that I was talking about. These are the dies. They come on an acetate sheet. I like to take them off that, pop them onto a magnetic sheet, which then sits on a 300 GSM piece of cardstock that then goes into a Q-Connect wallet. And I have these on the shelf in my craft room behind me because I find these stamps and dies are a great stash builder and handy to have when I'm making cards that aren't necessarily Papercraft Society cards, but any and all cards. So I love having them to hand. My stamps, you can see here, they come on 2 sheets of acetate. So I just stick the backer sheet on again a 300 GSM piece of cardstock and then pop it in a wallet. So I have taken here, you can see the large die. This can be a gerbera, a daisy, a sunflower, any kind of flower that resembles this. And you can see I have 2 made here. When I die cut this out, I did it in white and yellow. I popped the center out of the yellow one and stuck that on to my white flower. You can also see I went around the yellow center with some ink. I used the VersaFine Clear ink. The one called Golden Meadow is what I used. And I used one of my little blending brushes. Now I got these on Amazon, but Craft Stash now have these, so you can purchase them there either if you like. And don't forget, I leave links to everything down below if you're interested. So I've made a daisy and I also made a sunflower. The sunflower I made using some of the yellow cardstock that came in the kit. I used some brown cardstock from my stash. It's actually the one I'm using here for my card base. This is the Crelando little cardstock. It's 280 GSM. And again, I went around my brown center with some VersaFine Clear ink. I used the pine cone ink. And again, I had a little blending brush for that. And I have put the name of my inks on my little brushes, so that way I don't mix them up with Distress Oxide inks or any like that. So I've also gone around the edge of this with my yellow ink to distress it a little, and I also did that around the edge of my daisy, and I think it gives them definition you know, to the flowers. I've used a sparkle brush. The one I've used is this. It came in a previous Papercraft Society kit, and you can see here I have lots of sparkle on the center of my flower as well as along the edge, and I did that as well with my daisy. So I'm going to use the daisy today, but I'll have my little sunflower ready if I want to make another one of this card. And I was actually going to use the sunflower first, but I love the daisy so much I'm going to use the daisy. So that is one of the things that we're going to use in our card. In the stamps, we also have some sentiments here. We have happy, and you can see I've die cut that out. I've also taken this, it looks like a heart, or it could be a leaf, but I've cut it out as a heart, and you can see I have 4 of them cut there as well. So that's those. I want to also share with you on one of my panels, I have Happy Birthday Sweetheart. That's from this stamp set. It's a Made to Surprise Sentiments A5 stamp set, and it's here, Happy Birthday Sweetheart. And I love that. This card is for my daughter, Caitlin, who's going to be 30 on her birthday and you can see all the bits there. And I've used these numbers. These I got when I started crafting, oh, four more years ago. I think this was from AliExpress. That's before I realized that really buying dies from the creators or the manufacturers of that style is the best. I use this Tonic Studio numbers and letters die set as well. It has the TH and you know all those for the fifth and end and etc. There's a name for them. I can't remember. If you know what it is, leave it down in the comments below. But I've taken the TH little one here, so I'll have my 30th for Caitlin. I've used the birthday here is from this Made to Surprise set. It's a Sentiments die set from the Creative Cuts collection. And again, I have them here on the back and I'm just going to use this birthday for that. And then for my letters for Caitlin's name, I've used another Made to Surprise. I've kept it all craft stash in this card. This is the Funky Alphabet die set, and I love this one. Again, it's from the Creative Cuts collection, where there are products available on CraftStash. I will leave links in the description. I love using this die. It's all one plate, so you die cut out all the letters, or you can put little pieces of cardstock over the letters you want. But what I did was I cut out the letters. I used a couple of panels of this black sparkle cardstock. I hope you can see the sparkle that's in it there, and cut out Caitlin's name. And I like this because the letters are slim and long, so you can fit a bigger word into a smaller space. Whereas if I used some 1 by 1 inch letters, they would take up more room, and so that's why I went with those skinny ones there. So that's more or less all the pieces and products. The only other thing I wanted to share with you was the little bumblebee that I'm using, that you can see here, and I have them cut out. You can see all the different ones there, and I have this little one on acetate because I may pop this up on our steps. So the bee is this one here. What I have done is I have taken some of the creamy colored cardstock and black cardstock and I layered the two of them together. Then I took my die and I die cut out the two at one time. When you do that, you'll find that the back one, it's heavily embossed, so you can pop them out, but as you can see, I hope in this little bee here, they're actually still kind of attached. If you pop them, they'll pop out, but if you don't, they actually stay in the backing. And I find that handy when you have a second layer over it. So the second layer will peel off and then you can glue the little pieces down to it. So with this one, I kept my little bee black and I just stuck in the yellow pieces there. And with this one, I actually kept the whole of the bee except for the little antenna, and I popped out the center pieces. So you can make these many ways. You can put acetate behind them, etc. But I just wanted to show you the two ways I've it done. By layering the top one up on top like this, what happens is I didn't glue down the little wings together, so they could be splayed apart to give a little bit of definition on the card. So when our card folds flat, our bees can still have definition. If we put this card into a box envelope, the definition will stay up in the wings. If we put it into a regular envelope, then they'll flat down, but they may just pop up. I hope you can see it there. They may just pop up like that once they come out of the envelope. So it really depends how much dimension you want to give to your stepper card, whether you want to pop it into a box envelope or a regular envelope. Now the card I'm going to be making will be a 5x7 card, but I'm going to use the flower to give more height. So I'm going to make a box envelope that'll be 7x7 rather than 5x7. And I have a little, this is my template that I made to have a go to see if I liked this. So if I kept my flower down here, then my card would be 5 by 7. But because I've brought the flower up, it'll bring it up that it'll need to go into a 7 by 7. This piece is cut all, this piece is one piece, and then our steps inside are two separate pieces. So it kind of makes it easier if you don't like cutting out the steps so that it's all one piece. This way can be easier to make. So that's why I've gone with this style. I've also added my step piece onto the back here, so it gives us an area to write on. And then also you might see in here I have some little mechanisms. These little mechanisms will help our card from splaying open too far, because sometimes the card will just splay open like that. So with those little mechanisms in there, it keeps the card so it'll only open so far. So this is the style of card we're going to make, a stepper card. Just, it's made a little differently. Okay, so let's have a look at all the pieces. We've looked at our little bees, and we've looked at our little daisy. So I can move these out of the way. I'm going to move all our pieces and parts out of the way, and we're going to have a look now at our base. So this piece here is going to be our step base, and then our steps will be attached inside. And I've done it on this white piece so that you can see how I made it, and for a little bit, you know, it'll make it a little bit quicker. So this piece measures 10 by 7, and I've done some scoring. I've scored it initially at 5 inches right through the center. Now I want to put 4 score lines in the center of this piece. I'm going to come down 1.5 inches, and I'm going to come in from the sides 1.5 inches. So if I flip this over, you'll see better, I hope, what I mean. So my score lines are in here. Now you could use a ruler. I have a ruler here, and what I did was I just moved it out a little bit. I want to make sure that it's in a track. So I have used the ruler to give me an idea of coming down 1.5 inches. So I come down 1.5 inches, and then I'll come all the way down, and I'm coming all the way down. Let me just turn the ruler around so it's the right way. It makes it easier. Okay, there we go. So I'm coming down 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to score all the way down to 5.5 inches. Then I'm going to bring my ruler over to 8.5. I'm going to come down 1.5 inches, and I'm going to score all the way down to 5.5. And that'll give us these 2 score lines. So we have this score line, this score line, and this score line. Now we want to make these 2 score lines. So if we rotate around to the 7-inch side, again, I'm going to come down 1.5 inches and score all the way down to 8.5. Then I'm going to move my ruler over to the 5.5 line here, and I'm going to score down from 1.5 all the way down to 8.5, and that will give us our 4 score lines here. Now these score lines are actually going to be cut lines, but I figure if you have them down, it'll make it easier to cut. You can put this into a trimmer. You can use something like a craft stash trimmer, and then you'll be able to lift up. You can pop your piece in here like this, bring it over to the 1.5 inches, bring your blade down 1.5 inches, drop it down, and then score or cut and lift it up. And that will do your cut line. You can rotate it around and do the same thing again. If you don't have a trimmer like this, you could use a craft knife and a ruler, or you can use one of the Fiskars ones, and I'm sure there's many other brands on the internet that you can choose from. I like the Fiskars ones because they have a wire here through the middle, so you know exactly where you're going to be cutting. You can line up the wire with your score line, then bring up your blade, drop it down, and then score, cut through the score line there. And you can line up the little piece here that will line up with your score lines. So there's lots of ways to cut this, and as you've seen, I've already cut mine out. It's ready to go. So next we want to look at the steps that are going to sit in this piece, and I have two of those here. I have this one and this one, and if you have a piece of Crelando cardstock, then you can make the steps like you can make them all out of one piece, but I know not everybody has the Crelando cardstock, so that's why I've done it into two. So my first one measures 9.5 by 3 3/4, and I have scored this at 1/2, 2.5 and 5.5. My second piece measures 4 by 3 3/4, and I've scored that at 1 and at 2. Our little 1/2 inch tab here is going to sit underneath this, and that'll give us our long length, and then we can fold these. So this one will be, let me just make sure, so it'll be a mountain, a valley, a mountain, a valley and a mountain, and that then will sit into this, and we'll glue this onto our card base, our stepper base. So we need some mats and layers for this, and the first one we're going to look at is this one. So this is a piece of pattern paper that came in the Papercraft Society box. I have made a little mark here at 1 1/4 and 5.5, and then I have come over here and I have come in at 1 1/4. We want to cut out this piece, so our sides are 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 by 1 1/4. So once you have that piece cut out, that then will sit on the front of our stepper piece here, like so. And it should sit nicely in there and give a nice border all the way around. Okay, our next pieces that we need are these. So I'm going to start with the front pieces. I have 3 pieces of pattern paper. These all measure 3.5 by 2 3/4, 3.5 by 1 3/4, and 3.5 by 1/2 inch. So they will embellish the front of our card on the step. So you can see here now, for the back of my card, I have a panel here, and that is going to sit over this step, like so. If you've done your card base in white or your steps in white, you won't need that panel, but because I'm doing them in brown, I will be adding this panel. So this panel measures 3.5 by 3 3/4, and my little piece here is 3/4 of an inch in width, and that'll sit on our back panel like so, and it'll give us a place to write a message. I have these 2 strips as well, and they're going to decorate the back here of our card stepper. So just like that, and those 2 blue panels measure 1 1/4 by 4 3/4. So the only thing now to look at is these, and I have 3 of these. They're, like I mentioned earlier, to stop our card from splaying. These pieces measure 2 by 2, and I have scored them at 1/2, 1 and 1.5, and it's just a concertina fold, mountain, a valley, a mountain for all 3 of them. I will sit them in then, and they'll help our card to stop splaying open. So that's all our pieces that we're going to need for this card. All the measurements are in the description down below, so don't panic. Oh my god, Simone, I've got to write them all down. You don't need to write them down. The measurements are all down in the description, along with links to products, etc. So I'm going to clear everything up now, and we're going to start assembling. So let's do that next. So I have my two panels for my steps here, and I have it so that my 1/2 inch tab is here at this end, and then I have my 2-inch score lines are here at this end. So I want to glue this one on here like so. So I'm going to use, you can use some Collal glue, some quick grab glue, some double-sided tape, red liner tape, whatever you have in your stash. I'm going to just use the Collal glue, and I'm going to give that a minute then just for the glue to set, and that'll make sure it's nice and strong. So now you can see I have all my mats and layers on here on the front and on the back, and our card will stand, but it has, you know, it could splay open like this, and so that is why I have made these 3 little mechanism pieces here. I'm going to add them inside the card, in between our steps. They're going to go in between here, here, and here. And again, I'm going to use the Collal glue. I'm going to put them in like this, so they're going to come down. I hope I can show you. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one in the middle at the bottom of this step here, and then I'm going to add some glue onto this and then close that over, and then I'm going to add the next one to the bottom here and close this one over, and then I'll add this one to the bottom one here and close this one over. So I'm going to do them one at a time. I think I'll start with the smallest one first. Might be the easiest. So I'm going to actually use the quick grab glue for this because it will be easier than having to wait for the Collal glue. I need to refill these bottles. I think I'll have to do that now. I'll have to do that soon. It'll make it easier for the glue to come out. So I'm going to add glue to this tab as well as this little tab back here. And it really doesn't matter which way up, whether they're an M or a W shape, as long as they're to the bottom. So I'm going to close this one over. I'm going to add it to the middle in this step, and it doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, and then I'm going to close it over, and you can see there it actually grips down. So that's one done. I can do that now for the next one. And I'm going to keep it now in the same orientation that I have done this one. So I'll add this one here, and then I'll fold this flat and fold this flat down on top, and then we just have one left to do. So I'll add my glue to this, the tab on each side, so I have the glue on the 2 outside tabs, and again I'm going to pop that in the middle there, close it down, and then close that one down on top. And I'm just going to give that a minute now for that to set or go off. I'll flip that over, and you can see then we have our little mechanisms inside there, but it stops our card from splaying open. You can see that now. It won't open any further than what these will allow it to open. So now all we need to do is to embellish our steps, and I'm going to do that next, and I'm going to put this on high speed so you can watch me doing this. So the only thing I will say is, if you're doing your card the same as mine, make sure that your daisy, you watch how far it comes up. If you want this to fit into a 5x7 envelope, then you need to make sure that it keeps within the size. So you'd nearly want that the whole way down like that in order for that to fit in there. But because I'm going to make an envelope that's bigger, then I can allow that one. So I'll pop a ruler here so that I can know how far up I can come. So I just want to add glue to the tips of my flower there, so it'll glue on like so. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue to my flower. And I'm leaving myself a little bit of room, pulling it down a little bit more than what I need. And now I can have a look at the back, and I can add some glue to the back now, because I can see how far up I need to come. And I can press that in. Now you could add a little yellow center to this, so when you're looking at it from the back, it's as pretty as the front if you want. Or you could add a green piece back there for the back of your little daisy, but I'm going to leave it white. I don't think it needs it for myself. And the next thing, now we have all our little bits here, so it's just a matter of embellishing our card with all our little pieces. So I'm going to faff around. I'm going to play some music, and you can watch me in high speed adding my pieces to this. So we've finished our card, and I've made a box for it. My box is 7.5 by 7.5, and it's basically just a simple box. I have doubled over on the sides, so it has got some strength in it. So I have used one of the stamps from the stamp set we got, this one here. I've used also Big Birthday Wishes. It's from, again, this stamp set that we used earlier with Happy Birthday Sweetheart. And I've used the PS Please Don't Throw Me Away, and you'll see that on the inside. So this is our box on the outside, and you might be interested to know that the frame here is the Nested Circle Filigree Border Supersize Nestables from Craft Stash. They're the creative craft product dies. So that's the front of our box. Inside, I have stamped my little logo. I've again put our bees with the lovely little bee trails on the inside. And then I've used some of the tissue paper from a previous Papercraft Society kit. Our card fits in here lovely. There's plenty of room. It flattens down for when the lid is on. It comes up and it stands beautifully. I love this, and I hope Caitlin will too. And then inside the box here, I have another little bee and the bee trail with PS Please Don't Throw Me in the Bin. So it's a keepsake card and a keepsake box for the recipient, Caitlin, my lovely daughter. So that's it. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial today, making this really cool stepper card that we have here using the products from the Papercraft Society, box number 46 by Ruth Mackie-McCartan. And I just love all the elements in this card. If you've enjoyed my tutorial, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button and ding the bell. That way you won't miss my next video. There are links in the description to the products I've used. This kit was available when I was making this video, so I will leave a link to it down below, and I will put whether it has sold out at this point or not. Links will also be to other products that I have used, as well as the measurements to this card. So that's it. Until next time, folks, thanks so much for watching, for commenting and sharing my videos, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye for now.